All right, there we go. Sorry for the late start, everybody, and thanks for joining us live here on Facebook. And don't forget, I do a replay of this full video on my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and look up my name, Kevin Shortell, and you'll find it there along with all my tip of the day videos. I also do a rebroadcast of this on X, so you can see it over there too. If you prefer X over Facebook or what have you. I usually pop it on about an hour after this one, so you can check it out there on a regular basis. But thanks, everybody. It was good to see you, Dwayne.
Good morning. How are you? Good
Good, good.
vacation? Did you have a good little time away?
Good vacay. Yeah, indeed. It's important, I think, every once in a while to get away. And I was trying to call. I don't think Kenner and I have been together away, aside from going to see our son and stuff like that. Just a vacation. It's been probably 4 or 5 years, at least. So it was nice to get away, do a little,
Rejuvenated, ready to go,
yeah,
huh?
get
Yeah.
down in the islands and lay around a little bit.
Nice. Nice.
Turn
Good
the
for
phone
you.
off. I actually put my phone in my safe for a couple of days.
Good for you. It's awesome.
So, cool byproduct of that, is realizing, even though I was out there and not working, making money and passive income, and, it's the name of the game. And we've got such great opportunities with these performing notes today that it just, it's a good time to pick these things up. And I've got some case studies on deals that we're doing. Again, right now, I'd like to show you guys stuff that we are currently either just closed on or about to close on because we're just doing great. I picked up two more deals yesterday. We got two deals closing this week. So it's going really, really well for everybody. And as you'll see with these examples, this is not difficult. It is a specialized skill. There are some knowledge points that you have to know, of course. I mean, when I look at these deals, what I consider simple, if it's your first one, it might seem overwhelming to you. I get that part of it, but the reality is, if you can learn these skills, if you can operate certainly under my tutelage or even partnering with me on these deals, it makes a significant difference, and as does networking and such. So, got a couple case studies I want to run by you. Dwayne, I don't think you've seen these either, so these are going to be new to you too, but you'll know some of the parties involved here. So, this one is getting ready to close this week, and started working on it last mid-month in May. No, not May, April, March, April. Geez, I got to change that slide right away. Threw me off. March, April, that's what I meant. And just put these slides together this morning. But this was a property that the note on this property, there's the collateral right there. So this is an older image on Google Maps, and it's in South Carolina. Now, the owner of this note currently lives up in Canada, and he's out towards the mid-western part of Canada, out towards, oh gosh, you'll know. This is one of Nathan's deals, Dwayne.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we just saw Nathan out at the Noteworthy Convention. Nathan also runs an event called the Distressed Mortgage. Um, what's it called, Dwayne? DME, I always call it.
DM me.
Yeah, DME conference. Anyway, it's in Nashville, and
And
it's
we're going to be there this year, first
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're heading out there. That's
Our
in May.
schedules aligned to where we can go, so that'll be good.
Yeah. So it's all about the note industry, distressed mortgage industry, distressed mortgage expo, I'm sure it's called. And there'll be several hundred people there, and I'll be doing a presentation, and Dwayne will be out there with me. And but the guy who runs that, he's been around the business, I think probably 6, 7 years is a safe estimate of how long Nathan's been around. Really nice guy. We had a chance to sit down and have some lunch with him because I had not attended his event before, and he's been wanting me to come out there. So we're doing that in Nashville this year. But this was a note that he had on a property here in South Carolina, and I figured with Nathan being a seasoned investor and somebody that I knew, that he would have everything together. And he did. And that makes it simple. When you're selling a note, everybody, being organized, having all the files ready when people request them is so important. And I just don't understand why not everybody gets that. I'm constantly amazed where people go, they advertise a note to sell it, and then you ask them for some backup, some documentation, payment history, proof of insurance, original note, assignments, allonges, all this other information that we gather. And it's almost like it's like they're caught off guard. Like, you want what? I gotta get copies of that. It's like, you're selling a note. And if anybody knows what the heck they're talking about and buying a note, they're going to want to see documentation of everything. Number one, because in real estate, if it's not in writing, it's not real. But number two, in the note business, guess what? We are buying the note. We're buying contracts. That's really what we are buying. So, of course, we want to see those contracts. And if those contracts have been modified, we want to see the modification of those contracts. And if those contracts have been traded, we want to see the documentation, the paper trail of those that have been traded. We want to see the asset behind that that's protecting our valuation of that. Of course, we're going to want to see that. So, of course, Nathan, being experienced, he had everything together. One email, boom, here's the file folder. Everything is in there as we need it perfectly. So here's the layout of the deal, and you can see 7 days ago. So this deal is pending. It'll close if not by Friday, certainly by next Tuesday. This thing will be ready to go. So the property is valued at $130,000, and again, we verified that information. We can do that online as a start. If we feel that it's necessary to have boots on the ground, so to speak, where we need somebody to go out to the actual property and have a local real estate agent estimate the value of that property, that's called a BPO, or broker's price opinion. We can get that done very easily. On this one, I believe that my client skipped that step simply because every single place we looked online, including AI, we look at Realtor.com, Redfin, Zillow, all these other sites, the value is bouncing and hovering around just above and just below $130,000. Beautiful. And my client was comfortable with that, said, I don't need to pay an agent $80 to go out there and tell me what I think I already know on this. And I'm not saying, by the way, that you do that every time. Okay. There becomes an investor tolerance of what you want to do. Certainly, he could have ordered a BPO, but it was priced well also. Um, yeah, 65. I believe he got this for $64,000 on the purchase price. And then, we always look at what's the relationship between what you're investing, in this case, $64,000, and number one, what's the property worth, right? And that's our safety mechanism there. In other words, our investment, or my student's investment here of $64,000, is backed by a property that's worth 130. And when Dwayne and I were out at the Noteworthy Convention, a lot of people have raised concerns about what do you think is going to happen to property values, and what's going to happen to delinquent notes, and all those sorts of things. Well, think about it. If property values drop 10%, is my student in trouble here? Of course not. The property's now worth 120. Okay. If it drops 20%, okay, it's still worth over $100,000, and he's got $64,000 in it. That's our safety mechanism there. So a drop in prices. I mean, if we had a 20% drop in real estate prices, there's a heck of a lot of other worse things going on, but this investor is not in trouble. You had a lot of those questions, Dwayne, right? About property value.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, going back doing due diligence and just looking at looking at the deal, and you know, you're safe here. Totally.
Yeah, it's the first thing that I look at. So if we can check the box, so to speak, of safety in an investment, then we can start to compare it to other things, such as what is the unpaid balance of this. And you'll notice the unpaid balance on this note is $76,000, but he's paying 64. Okay, so that's building up what we call bonus yield. And this is another thing that people don't get. There's going to be a yield on this, which is going to be over 12%. So my investor's already out of the gate making a 12% annualized return. In fact, here's the math, 12.13%. Okay. Out of the gate, he's going to make that potentially for up to 198 months. I say potentially because the person might sell the house, refinance, pay off the loan early. If any of that occurs, refinancing or selling the property, there's going to be bonus yield. Why bonus yield? Because remember, the balance is at 76,000 and is falling, but the amount of money that the investor has in is $64,000 and is falling as well because he's getting paid back part principal every single month. And remember, hopefully the property's going up in value. So we're taking on less risk, but he's got this gap over time. If this loan were to pay off early, there would be about a $10,000 bonus, so to speak, on that loan. And that's what I think a lot of lenders don't get. Well, I'm making 13%, I'm making 15% on my loans that I'm hustling every time they pay off a loan. I have to do a new loan and I'm working. This guy's making over 12% and he'll get more than 15% if the loan pays off early, but he's not in a hurry. And that's the thing. And you've got these people holding out for 15% yields where they just don't understand. Put your money to work right now. Don't wait 6 months to find 15% when you can be in a 12% deal right now, and you'll end up making more down the line if this loan pays off.
You know, several of these investors that I've talked to, I hear from time to time, oh, I'm making 18, 20%, and I'm getting a better rate than what I can get doing note business. And I know to ask the question, it's like, how long is your money being deployed? Well,
Yeah.
I only have it out for 4 months. Well, I hate
Right.
to tell you, but you're not 18, 20%. Your money's on, 7 months out of the year, it's not even working. So,
Yeah.
uh, redo the numbers, understand what you're doing, and always ask the questions.
Yeah. You got it. So, really simple note, not a whole lot to this. What do? We still have to verify information, right? So, show us the original loan, right? We got the mortgage, we got the note, everything checks out, no problem there. The note had been sold one time to Nathan's company. So we want to see verification of that. So we've got the assignment of mortgage here going from the originator over to Nathan's company. And we've got the allonge of the note going from the originator to Nathan's company. Perfect. What's the next in line? My student. So my student's going to get an assignment of mortgage and an allonge of the note from Nathan's company to his company. That's it. It's a simple process, but again, you do have to know and ask for and see these documents. If you have missing notes and things like that, that can be problematic. If you're missing allonges on notes, that can be problematic down the road. So although this may be, and which it is, really a simple transaction, you still have to go through this system of checks and balances so you don't have problems down the road. You don't want to be one of these note investors who's gotten lucky. And what I mean by that is sometimes you get investors who, I don't need this, I don't need that, I don't need to know everything about the business. I'm certainly not going to, pay for training because there's so much free information I can get online. Why would I pay for training when I can get free stuff on online? And a lot of times, you got to remember, so there's that equation of price value. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. If the information's free, it's probably not enough information to act on. Okay. And you got to be careful with free information online. I'm just telling you, I don't care if it's a chat room or whatever. Just be careful out there because there can be a lot of misinformation or just lack of knowledge, really, which comes down to ignorance. You learn these things through experience. And if you're getting advice, free advice or chat group advice, you got to be really careful. Whose advice is that? What experience level do they have? Because if they haven't, chances are if they haven't seen it before, they just don't know.
Yeah.
And I've seen people get in trouble with that. So I just want to point that out. I'm not saying don't join those groups or anything like that and have camaraderie, but man, do your own due diligence and know what the heck to look for to connect the dots. Because if you've been lucky as a note investor where you're just like, I don't know, it's been pretty simple. I bought two notes and everything's been great. And everything is always great when people are living up to their obligations. When you have a borrower that just continues to pay, there can be mistakes, all kinds of mistakes on deals, and it'll never come up because they continue to pay. When they don't pay and you go to foreclose or take some legal action, that's when all your mistakes come back and crush you because now it's gonna catch up. It's gonna cost you time, money, and everything else. In fact, I'm working on a partner deal, Dwayne, with somebody right now.
Uh-huh.
And we got all the way through. We got the purchase and sale agreement. We ordered BPO and title on this one. We're getting ready to wire money, and I think I showed you this. Um, Gosh, did I?
The one that
It
we
was
did
it
before
was like
you went on
95
vacation.
page title report.
Yeah, we did that right before you went on vacation.
Okay, okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, remember the lesson on that one. I found in there that there was a problem with the mobile home is still personal property. It's not attached to real property. That's a problem. And if we were to continue on with that note, and buy it in that condition, it's fine as long as the borrower pays us. But if she stops paying us, she's at an extreme advantage because now we have to pay for an attorney to try to petition the court again and everything else. And by the way, an update on that one, they are going to correct that. So the attorneys are
Oh,
working.
really?
Yeah, yeah, the attorneys are working on that right now because they understand. They go, yeah, well, it's a big part, a big problem of this note, and they've got an opportunity, to correct it now. And if they correct it, great, we'll buy it as agreed. We'll just take a couple of the payments off, as it's probably going to take a month or two for that to get worked out. Which
Oh, that's
is
awesome.
great. But I mean, that's the thing that you still have to know what to look for. Here's another one for you, and this one is we should close on this week. This is one that I partnered on. Just a small performing note, and this is that property in Indiana.
Yeah,
I know
nice.
you've seen this one. I don't think we've talked about it, or have we?
Yeah, we have because we were talking about the house next door to it and the
Okay.
upkeep. Yeah, we talked about this.
Okay. Cool. Well, this one's going just absolutely great. Just as a quick refresher, then, property's worth over 100,000 bucks. We actually got this for 23,000, so I got a little bit off there, but the guy had it priced right. So sometimes, and I probably didn't speak about this last time, sometimes, yeah, I get it. We can negotiate and try to get better deals. But when you see a screaming good deal like this one was, I knew this was going to sell quick. And I didn't want to toy around too much with coming in with an offer and renegotiating because somebody else might jump in and the deal goes away. So I came in at 23 even, and they accepted that, and I advanced very quickly to get this thing under contract. And as I may have mentioned before, when they modified this loan, so anytime you buy a loan that's been modified, you have to see that modification because that's now what you are buying. So new terms, new payback, everything else. And with this one, they required that the borrower now pay by ACH. So it's a little bit of a trade-off here, right? We'll modify your loan. You got to pay us a little money in good faith, 4,000 bucks for us to do this. We'll take the 10 grand that you owe and pop it to the back of the loan, but you also have to agree to have the monthly payments automatically withdrawn from your account, which they agreed upon, which led to the perfect payment history. And that we've got years of that perfect payment history. So I guess just an update then, if we've talked about this one, I guess it's fresh on my mind because we are just getting ready to
Yeah, because we were talking about it
close.
being in Brazil. Didn't
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah. So great deal on that one. Also, and that'll be closing this week. I've already put my share in there, and
Awesome.
my partner Debbie, she's wired her money. In fact, I just got an email on this one. The next step, by the way, is we have our money in escrow. It's being held. It won't be released until we authorize the release of it. And what we have to have happen now is the seller gathers all of the physical paperwork that they have, and they FedEx that to an auditor. Okay, and over at PaperStack. And PaperStack, the auditor, once they receive that, which will be tomorrow, the guy just told me this morning he's putting it FedEx overnight right now. So they'll get that paperwork tomorrow, and they'll let me know. They'll go through it, make sure that everything is there. We're not missing any documentation. They'll send me verification of that. I'll okay that verification in writing, and then after that, they simply sign the assignment and the launch over to us, my partner and I, and the deal is closed. Once that's signed That's the whole closing. And the closing on this with the note business, typically today it's done online electronically. So the seller in this case is just going to click a couple of buttons with their signature on it. That documentation will be uploaded, and I will simply take the assignment and record it. But legally, once he signs it, we own it. We've already got the servicing company signed up and ready to go. We're using, by the way, the same servicing company that the seller was using, which makes it real simple. The borrower's payment, remember this one is automatic with ACH. That's still going to be debited by the same company. Okay. Same company's taking out the fee, and then they're just sending the money instead of to the previous owner. They now have the documentation to send it over to us. Now, in us in this case, by the way, because I'm partnering on this, we don't commingle funds. So I own 10% of this loan or something like that, and they own 90, something like that. The servicing company will take that money and send each person, each party their share. Very simple after that. And that's those are all done. I got a couple more in the hopper, so we'll save those for next time. Just got them under contract. Yesterday, I had it was kind of interesting. It's somebody that I bought from before, and this is important in building relationships. When you have a good buyer and a good seller, each of us know who we are, and they have certainty that Kevin's going to be demanding. He's going to want all the documentation, but at the end of the day, Kevin can move quick and he'll close the deal, right? And that's what the seller wants. So with this seller, he goes, "Hey, Kevin, I got somebody else at your same price. Um, do you want this? You want this deal?" And I said, "Yeah, we're doing it." He said, "Got it." And we took it yesterday all the way from start to a purchase and sale agreement. Just boom, right under contract in one day. And I just got the documents earlier in the day. So I mean, it was that quick. Um,
Is this part of that list, that tape that you got that hadn't been released yet?
no, that tape, unfortunately, somebody came in and bought the whole thing.
Well, that's not unfortunate, but
Well, it wasn't one of my people.
okay, yeah,
So it is
that,
unfortunate. Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy was, I was working on it on Saturdays, what happened on that one.
Yeah,
And, so I'm back from vacation Thursday. So Friday I'm working. I'm like, man, I got to catch up. And he had sent me, initially, he just sent me a whole bunch of files. And remember when I started this morning, I was saying, man, if you're a seller, have it organized, have it easy. You want to sell something, present it in a way that people can go through it. And all he had was a bunch of file folders. And I'm like, I can't imagine how much time it's going to take me to go through that, because there's not even a listing of here's the balance, here's the payment, here's the interest rate. I mean, none of that stuff. I'm like, oh, man.
hodgepodge.
So I
Yeah,
pushed back and said, hey, if you want to sell these, man, you've got to put a spreadsheet together. You've got to lay it out for me so I know which ones I want to look at. Then I can go to the files, for verification. But I need you to take the numbers and put them out there, which they did. But on vacation and stuff, I didn't have a chance to look at it. So when I get back, I'm working on Saturday, this is like last weekend, and I'm starting to add my stuff in there now. So I'm adding in some of the math into the spreadsheet. I'm putting maps on there. I'm starting to do my whole thing. And I had a couple questions for him. And thankfully, he was apparently working on the weekend, or at least was answering emails, because I sent him the question, and he goes, yeah, he answered the question, whatever it was, and he goes, and by the way, he goes, somebody came in and bought the whole portfolio, you know,
mm,
and I was like, oh, but I was like, thank you for telling me, because I was about to spend, the next 2 hours going over, I don't know, what is it, 14 deals or something like that.
yeah,
And so he saved me some time on that. But, he also told me what the guy paid for the portfolio. And I wouldn't be surprised if that deal shows up again.
really.
Yeah. Yeah. They overpaid. Um, Now again, when somebody commits like that, I'll buy the whole portfolio. It doesn't mean it's a closed deal. It means they're going to go into a negotiation and get a purchase and sale. Even with the purchase and sale agreement, much like buying a piece of property, if you're buying a house, even to live in yourself, your offer is still subject to some things, such as termite inspection, property inspection, the ability to get a loan, so there's contingencies that are built within that. So it works the same way in the note business where this guy might have it under contract, subject to, and then he starts digging deeper and he goes, oh, I'm overpaying for this, and he'll end up backing out. That note in Brazil, if I didn't mention it the last time, that was another one that came back. I
Hmm.
get outbid by that one by less than $1,000, but the other person, well, to use the words of the seller, he said, "Oh, it was somebody new, and they just didn't have the ability to close," and which was kind of a soft way of saying they really didn't know what they were doing and got scared. And so it came back, and with that one, I said, "All right, well, yes, I want, I'll give you $500 more, but I want it. Let's move forward." And they did. So we ended up getting that one as well. But overall, again, the other thing Dwayne and I heard at that event, which is getting further and further away from us in present time, but it still kind of sticks with you when you got a lot of industry people going, "Yeah, I don't know, man, inventory, huh?" And I'm like, what are you talking about? What inventory? Like, well, there's nothing really good out there, right? Well, geez, I don't know where they're looking or through what lens. It's one or the other, right?
I don't, I mean, I hear it daily, I can't believe you guys are closing so many deals because we're looking out there, we're looking at the same stuff. And, I think the expectation of what people have from what they were buying notes at before, and it was so easy. It was just shooting in a barrel. Now it does, and yeah, I think you would agree. It takes a little bit more time, to looking at these deals, and we're finding mistakes all the time. I mean, to your case in point, you're having to go through, and if you can evaluate the deal and it makes sense, push back to the seller as you always do, and they're right. Oh yeah, I messed up, and it's nothing malicious. It's just that they're selling something that and put together that maybe they were uneducated when they did it,
Yeah.
and so uh, we're fine. You're closing deals. You're
Yeah.
closing deals.
Yeah. Every week. And that's good. The other thing, just of recent news, I know we talked about this the last time before the vacation, the non-performing note inventory, because that came up as well. And I gave my thoughts on that. And I'm still, I believe I'm 100% accurate on my response on that. But I did read the other day that 6.5 million people now are delinquent on their loans. Now,
Really?
what I have to look at to further investigate that number is a couple of things, but I'll start with that number 6.5 million. That's very large. That's a huge number. We were at our max over 10 million. So I mean, we're more than halfway there, which is higher than I expected. But here's the things with when you see statistics like that, by definition, what do they mean? Because you can be behind on a loan 30 days, and there's a category for that. And when you're in default in 30 days, okay? After 90 days, that's when the terminology switches to delinquent. And typically 90 days is seriously delinquent. So normal sequence verbally is if someone's late on a payment, they're in default. 60 days into a payment, they're delinquent. 90 days, they're seriously delinquent. So that's normally how they're categorized out. So when you see charts like that that says 6.5 million people are behind on their mortgage, if it's worded that way, it's like, well, what does that mean? Are we talking 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days? And that's a significant difference because a lot of people, miss a payment, and you fall into the default if you're 1 day behind. So when they're looking at numbers, there could be a lot of those that fall into a category. They were 10 days behind, but within the grace period, that sort of thing. That would still be considered in default if you were going by strict definition. If they're saying that, they're looking at 60-day lates, that's something, because a lot of times with 60-day lates, people can still catch up. The slippery slope is when it starts to look at 90 days, because 90 days delinquency, that's almost, for most people, they can't really catch up from that. That's where they're in trouble, and they need to work with the lender. And so the 6.5 million, I'm not sure again which category that is, because I saw it on probably on X or something like that, where I saw the chart, but I didn't go through and look at the details. But let's say it is 6 million people. That's significant. Why aren't we seeing non-performing notes? And the reason is, once again, is the banks don't own these notes, everybody. Okay. They're owned by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Ginnie Mae, which are heavily, heavily, heavily influenced by the government. Okay. Ginnie Mae is a government entity, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they call quasi-government, because there are some, it's kind of private company mixed with government, but let's face it, government's in control, and they set the rules. And they're telling these lenders, don't foreclose on people. Do everything you can to work with them to prevent foreclosure. And although that sounds good, the problem becomes people abuse that system. And that's where you end up seeing tapes like I did a couple months back, where newer loans, 5 years, they haven't made a payment. Their loan's been modified. They paid a little bit again. They stop paying. They go to another bank, pay a little bit, stop paying, and they start to game the system. And when that starts stacking up, there's this dam of legislation that's holding back this flood of these non-performing notes. How much longer can it hold up? That becomes the question. So keep your eye on government programs. If we see the homeowner financial assistance program getting funded again or ramping up, it's coming. It's
Yeah.
coming. So we just don't know. So we shall see. A couple of things. Again, here's Dwayne's link. So if you want to give us a call, you're interested in doing deals like the ones I'm showing you, and how are people learning this, and you mentioned partnering. How can I partner with you? Talk with Dwayne. Let's see if it's a good fit for you. We've got a couple of different programs that might work for you, and it's worth a conversation, right? At a bare minimum. So it's just calendly.com and Dwayne Gibbs, NMS. And also, if you want to come out and see us in Diversified, I said distressed earlier, Diversified Mortgage Expo 2025. You can come out and see us there, and I'll give you a link for that if you want to sign up. So I'll embed the link somewhere in here that you can see that. But it's going to be in Nashville, Friday, May 2nd, and Saturday, May 3rd. I believe I'm speaking May 3rd, right? In the afternoon.
Yes, May 3rd. And then if they sign up, I think it's until the 8th, they will get discount. What I sent over to you right here, this is your link. So they can use this link to sign up. As you see your names there, and they have, I believe, until the 8th of this month to receive discount on hotel stay.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, it looks
Because
like
there's
it's
a
very
there's a
pricey.
block of there's a block of room. Yeah, I think it got pushed out until the 8th. If I may be misspeaking, but I read somewhere, I thought I did anyhow, that it was pushed up until the 8th. So
Okay. Yeah, it could be
uh
for a room block. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it is for a room block. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. They're still holding the discount out there, $100
Yeah.
off right now. So yeah, you'll have that link as well if you want to come out to that. And there should be, he set up to 300 people there.
Yeah.
Uh, 16 vendors, industry vendors. So it should be a good event. And
Size, but
I'm speaking just for, close to an hour on one day, but Dwayne and I will be there Friday and Saturday, pretty much the whole day. So if you're out there, please make sure you meet up with us and say hello.
yes.
All righty. Well, that's what we got for you today. We'll put together another one for you next Wednesday. In the meantime, again, get on the phone, talk with Dwayne, and let's get you going. There's no reason with these deals, with our guidance, you can't be doing the same thing. And like I said, we're
Sure.
closing deals every single week, so we can do the same for you. All right.
Yes.
See you
See you
later.
next week.